They mocked him. They called him worthless, just a poor street boy. But when the wealthiest man in the city was dying from an illness no doctor could cure, this boy walked in with nothing more than a bowl of noodles. And what happened next, no one could have ever imagined. Kai was born into poverty. His father had disappeared when he was little, and his mother had passed away too soon, leaving him with nothing but her old recipes and her belief that a meal cooked with love can heal any wound. Each day, Kai set up his tiny, dented stove on a street corner. With scraps of vegetables and bones others threw away, he made noodles, cheap, humble, but warm. People laughed when they saw him. Children mocked him. Shopkeepers sneered. Who would eat that poor boy's food, they said. But Kai didn't stop. He remembered his mother's words, and every bowl he made, he stirred with care, whispering quietly, "This might be the one that helps someone today." Far away in a towering mansion, Mr. Harrington lived surrounded by everything money could buy. Gourmet meals, fine wines, doctors on call, endless luxury. But inside, he was crumbling. His wife had died years ago, and grief had swallowed him whole. Slowly, he stopped eating. Food tasted like dust. Doctors diagnosed him with anorexia of the soul, a condition no medicine could mend. His fortune grew, but his body withered. Newspapers whispered, "The man who owns everything is starving to death." Servants tried delicacies worth thousands. Chefs prepared feasts that could feed kings, but nothing worked. His daughter, Amelia, watched helplessly as her father grew weaker by the day. One cold evening, Harrington's servant walked through the crowded streets, carrying medicine. That's when he caught a whiff of something unusual, aroma rising from a battered pot. He followed the scent and found Kai, stirring noodles with quiet focus, ignoring the laughter of passers-by. The servant paused. Something about that scent felt different. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't rich, but it smelled alive. He thought, the master refuses the richest foods. Maybe it's time to try the simplest. And so, against the protests of others, he brought Kai to the mansion. When Kai stepped into the grand dining hall, whispers filled the room. Servants gasped at his ragged clothes. Doctors scoffed. "This boy, he cannot help where we have failed." Even some of Harrington's advisers sneered, "You'll risk his life on a peasant's broth." Kai placed his pot on the table. His hands trembled, but his heart was steady. He said softly, "I don't have riches, but I made this with love, the way my mother taught me." The bowl was set before Mr. Harrington. For a long moment, he stared at it. Simple broth, fresh herbs, noodles gently steaming. He lifted the spoon slowly. The first sip touched his lips. And then, something remarkable happened. His eyes widened. He took another bite, and another. Soon he was leaning forward, finishing the bowl while tears rolled down his cheeks. For the first time in months, he ate. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to. The hall fell silent. The boy they mocked had done what doctors, chefs, and riches could not. Harrington's daughter rushed to his side, crying tears of joy. "Father, you're eating! You're finally eating!" The man who had been fading away found himself alive again. Not healed completely, but touched, renewed, with a spark of appetite for life. He turned to Kai, his voice breaking. How? How did you do this?" Kai lowered his eyes. Because food isn't just food. It's love. It's hope. And that's something money can't buy. Word spread like wildfire. The richest man in the city had been saved by a poor boy's noodles. Crowds who once laughed now lined up at Kai's street corner. They realized what they had missed all along. Not luxury, not extravagance, but simplicity and care. Harrington himself came forward publicly. He declared, "This boy cured me with more than noodles. He reminded me of life, of love, of what truly matters." From that day, Kai was no longer a boy people mocked. He was a healer of souls, a cook who carried his mother's legacy into every bowl. Harrington did not forget what Kai had given him. Together, they built kitchens across the city, feeding the hungry, healing the broken. Rich and poor ate side by side, and for once, wealth and poverty melted away at the same table. Kai never became rich in gold, but he became rich in something greater: respect, love, and purpose. They mocked him for being poor, but with a single bowl of noodles, he taught an entire city what wealth truly means: love, compassion, humanity. Sometimes it's not grand feasts that heal us, but the simplest food, made with the purest heart. If this story touched your heart, remember, greatness isn't found in riches, but in kindness, and even the smallest act of care can create the biggest miracle.